Hey guys, I was on the way home when I heard that Jimmy Kimmel had been pulled off air indefinitely by ABC due to his comments on the show surrounding Charlie Kirk, and there was a lot of backlash. And I was also listening to a roundtable of journalists or newsreaders, and they were all arguing about what freedom of speech was and if this is censorship or not. And I just wanted to pass it on to any Americans that are in this comment section and watching this to talk about it. And I'll have some questions at the end, but I really like getting the news articles and the facts out and the case before we go onwards.
Over the weekend with the Maga Gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. In between the finger pointing, there was grieving. On Friday, the White House flew the flags at half staff, which got some criticism. But on a human level, you can see how hard the president is taking this.
My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks? They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House, which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years. And it's going to be a beauty.
Yes. He's at the fourth stage of grief, construction. Demolition, construction. This is not how an adult grieves the murder of someone he called a friend. This is how a 4-year-old mourns a goldfish.
Alright, let's start with the leading headline. Jimmy Kimmel Live pulled from air by US broadcaster ABC over insensitive Charlie Kirk comments. Late night talk show host Jimmy Kimmel Live has been dropped from air indefinitely over comments about the murder of right-wing political activist Charlie Kirk. The show's host, comedian Jimmy Kimmel, suggested during a monologue earlier this week Mr. Kirk's alleged killer may have been a pro-Trump Republican. Suspect Tyler Robinson, 22, has been charged with aggravated murder of Mr. Kirk during a speaking event on a Utah University campus. Mr. Kimmel on Monday night, local time, accused the Maga Gang of trying to score political points by characterizing Mr. Robinson as anything other than them. In between the finger pointing, there was grieving, he said. His comments sparked outrage from the head of the Federal Communications Commission, FCC, the group responsible for regulating broadcasts. FCC Chairman Brendan Carr told a right-wing podcast Mr. Kimmel's remarks constituted the sickest conduct possible. He added the FCC could move to revoke the ABC's affiliate licenses to force the organization to punish Mr. Kimmel. We can do this the easy way or the hard way, Mr. Carr said. These companies can find ways to change conduct and take actions on Kimmel, or there's going to be additional work for the FCC ahead. He later labelled Mr. Kimmel as talentless and said his comments showed some sort of desperate irrelevance. Prior to his on-air monologue, Mr. Kimmel had posted a statement condemning the shooting on social media. Instead of the angry finger pointing, can we just for one day agree that it's horrible and monstrous to shoot another human, he wrote. He added, he and his family send love to the Kirk family and all the children, parents, and innocents who fall victims to senseless gun violence. Jimmy Kimmel Live is owned by US broadcaster ABC. ABC affiliate Nexstar Media Group announced it would preempt the show on its television stations, replacing it with other programming indefinitely. Nexstar's broadcasting president Andrew Alford said Mr. Kimmel's comments were offensive and insensitive. We do not believe they reflect the spectrum of opinions, values, and views of the local communities in which we are located, he said. Continuing to give Mr. Kimmel a broadcast platform in the communities we serve is simply not in the public interest at the current time, and we have made the difficult decision to preempt his show in an effort to let the cooler heads prevail as we move forward toward the resumption of respectful, constructive dialogue. We have a tweet from Donald J. Trump. We'll get to that in a sec. Minutes later, the ABC announced Mr. Kimmel would be taken off air indefinitely. Another ABC affiliate group, Sinclair, announced it would air a Charlie Kirk memorial special in Mr. Kimmel's usual time slot. They said it would not return Jimmy Kimmel Live to its stations until formal discussions with ABC regarding its commitment to professionalism and accountability. US President Donald Trump took to his social media platform Truth Social following the announcement, celebrating the show's cancellation. He called the decision great news for America. The rating challenge Jimmy Kimmel show is cancelled, the president said. Congratulations to ABC for finally having the courage to do what had to be done. Kimmel has zero talent and worse ratings than even Colbert, if that's possible. He also called for Kimmel's fellow late-night hosts Jimmy Fallon and Seth Meyers to be taken off the air by their broadcasters NBC. It is not the first time Mr. Kimmel has been in the firing line in recent months. Earlier this year, Mr. Trump predicted Mr. Kimmel would be taken off air following Paramount's decision to cancel The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. The word is, and it's a strong word at that, Jimmy Kimmel is next to go in the untalented late-night sweepstakes, he wrote on Truth Social in July. So why I really want to talk about this is because there seems to be a difference in opinions of Americans of what freedom of speech is. And I don't know if you guys really know what your freedom of speech means and what the limitations are. On the way home, I was listening to just a round table of newsreaders or journalists coming together talking about this, and if it's specifically censorship or freedom of speech, and they were all fighting. Each one of them had their own opinions of what freedom of speech was and what censorship is or isn't. None of them agreed on anything, and it got me. I really thought there was more of a. I thought it was concrete what freedom of speech was in America. And that's why I wanted to talk about this and have a conversation, because I want to know what you think is, as the viewer of all this, and as an American directly yourself. So I have some questions. Do you think what happened of him getting pulled off is censorship? And one person was saying it's not censorship because, yes, the ABC has terminated indefinitely his late night show, but there's nothing that stops him from going on a platform like Instagram, putting a camera in front of him and recording live and saying what he wants to say. But now he's not really in the public eye and in front of millions of people, because who's going to really tune into that? That was an interesting point of contention. Where does censorship begin or end? Should Jimmy Kimmel, a late night talk host, even be talking about politics? Should he even have engaged in any of this? I think there's a long history of late night hosts getting caught up with politics, especially in America. I think you can't have a show like that and not in some capacity talk about politics. Should he have commentated on it? Should he have said anything? Should he have used his platform of the late night show to talk about it? I don't know. I'm asking your thoughts. And what is freedom of speech for yourself? What rules do you have for freedom of speech? And what's hate speech? Is hate speech included in your freedom of speech? What is your limitations, if you have any? Now I've just got all these on notes because I had to get these out of my head, so I'm just reading from this notepad. Is the ABC bending the knee to negative feedback and investors? Are they just trying to get away? Is this a money-orientated thing? I mean, largely it is, right? This comes down to people needing to watch it, people needing to invest, and obviously late night TV is kind of on a downtrend at the moment. So is it okay for them just to get someone out of the way and to stop it because of money? Obviously it is a business, and these people that I was listening to were saying, they have to keep their best interest at heart. Should freedom of speech override any of that? Is the government having too much power over who can broadcast what? This one is, Trump's kind of political views on the ABC and Jimmy Kimmel himself, and anything that he was saying, Jimmy Kimmel, he didn't agree with, and it was a too much pressure of ABC to bend to the government's will, and everything has to be pro-Trump. I don't specifically agree with the government having that direct call of ending it, but it does definitely influence who watches and to ABC and to maintain the business, maybe. Should the FCC chairman have said those comments? I don't he's saying the same kind of comments that Jimmy Kimmel shouldn't have said, Should he have said, we can do this the easy way or the hard way? Should he have gone on a supposedly right-wing podcast and made the remark that that Jimmy Kimmel's speech was the sickest conduct possible? Should a FCC chairman be saying that? I don't know. That's why I want to create a conversation of this. And as an Australian, I want to learn more of what you think freedom of speech is and your thoughts. Anyway, that's really it. Just a quick video to put it together because I just found it interesting, really, how they were just all arguing. And I just want to know what you think freedom of speech and censorship is, and is this a case of that? This is just plainly looking at the perspective of freedom of speech. If you like the person or not, or what they said, I don't like Jimmy Kimmel at all. Should he have said what he said in kind of a comedy relief style? No, he shouldn't have. I don't think so. Should that lead him to have his show cancelled? I don't know. That's why we're just having conversation. I don't like Jimmy Kimmel, okay? And really, I didn't really like Charlie Kirk. But I can respect what his beliefs were and what he stood for. And you can do the same for Jimmy Kimmel if you like him. I just want to know, from a purely freedom of speech, is this an overstepping? Anyway, thank you. Bye.